Today we're talking about masks. I like this. Like this. Masking is one of the most helpful tools and used to only be in After Effects, but in recent years, we can stop this now. But in recent years, it has come to Adobe Premiere, which is insanely helpful when trying to do basic compositing. This can be anything from cloning yourself to removing unwanted equipment, cropping your footage to a specific shape, or even rotoscoping out a subject. To get started with any mask, you're going to click the clip that you're wanting to mask, go into Effects Controls, Opacity, and you'll see three options. You can create a circle, square, or a custom mask. So let's start by showing an example of cloning. I have this shot here where I have our talent standing in different positions so that we can composite them all together. So I'll take these three shots and stack them on top of each other inside of the timeline. We also have a clean plate if we need it, but we probably won't in this instance. So now I'll mask out the talent in the first two layers so that they remain, but the rest is removed, seeing down to the third layer. I'll make sure to feather as well so we clean up any obvious stitch points and you're done. If you want, you can even highlight all of these clips, right click and then hit nest. Now we can add something like a subtle camera shake and a color grade to the nest or any other effect that you would like. You can also double click to go back to your VFX shot and fine tune anything you need. But if we watch the shot play out, you will see that right here our clone's hand leaves the mask that we made for them and crosses over one of our other clones, which brings us to Roto is the act of animating your mask and can be useful in countless ways, but here we will just use it to make this clone shot more effective by allowing one to cross over the other. Now, if we wanted one clone to walk in front of the other, you'd really want to use a green screen for that, but with something this simple, it's entirely doable. So we'll open up our mask and click the mask path stopwatch. Now you can keyframe the mask during the frames where the subject crosses the other. And of course, we're going to make sure that this roto layer is above the layer it's supposed to be in front of, since the layer structure here does go from top to bottom. Then, after some tedious masking, you have this. Simple, but does sell the effect more. And I'm sure you can see that this technique could have a litany of uses. Something that we've shown a lot on our show Film Riot is using masks to remove any equipment we don't want in frame, like mics, lights, crew members, bad acting, whatever. And on a low budget, these things may not be in frame on accident. For instance, we did a whole episode all about strategically placing lights in frame for higher output. And pulling something like this off is as simple as getting your shot and a clean plate. Then with the clean plate below the main shot, we mask out what we want to remove, feather, and there you go. Of course, if you don't have a clean plate, you can always jump into Photoshop, use generative fill, and make one yourself. Sometimes you want some tasty 80s cheese, like this. Why? I don't know. But to get this look, we need to mask our clip to fit inside this triangle shape that we set up. You can lower the opacity a bit, position your clip with the framing that you'd like, then mask your subject out. If it's not perfect, you can use the mask expansion to expand or shrink the mask to fit. Next, make sure that your shape is above your clip to hide any imperfections. And now you can highlight your layers, right-click, hit nest, and then animate your nested clip. Then add an old filter, and you have a deliciously cheesy effect. For no reason at all. Not only does masking work for any clips or pictures, but you can also mask video effects. So if you wanted a vignette that you have complete control over, for example, you can click on the circle icon under Lumetri Color, feather the mask out, and adjust your Lumetri settings to create the desired effect. Or you could get a little stylized by rotoscoping your subject out, clicking the invert box, and desaturating the color to achieve this Schindler's List type effect. The same thing can be applied to a blur effect, a key effect, and pretty much anything that has these mask icons. I'm often using this for color grading, just with multiple instances of Lumetri to really dial in a grade overall. So as you can see, there are countless creative things that you could do with masking, but hopefully these basics we covered get your creative juices flowing. And if you have something you'd like to see us cover, feel free to drop us a comment below. And subscribe to the channel for more tutorials and updates like this one, because clicking is a workout for your finger, and I'm just putting your health first.